Well, hello there. I hope wherever you are, you're having an amazing day. My name is Amber, and I enjoy spooky, ooky stuff and makeup and adult libation. So I figured that I would combine all three of those things and share them with you. So if that sounds pretty groovy, then stay tuned.
I'm cute.
Check out my amazing wine glass chalice that I got from Marshall's for like $5. First of all, I went to Sephora today, but I picked up this cream blush and I'm really excited to try it because I've been hearing really good things about Rare Beauty's formula, especially with the cream blush and the concealers. Like, I heard that those things are absolutely wonderful. If you're interested, I can always link the products that I'm using down below, but I mean, whatever. Today, I want to talk about this really interesting possession case that I read about. It was here in America. I believe it was in Iowa. Can't remember what part of Iowa, but it was this girl named Anna Eklund who apparently this possession lasted for like years, like up until she was in her 40s. So let me tell you a little bit about Anna from what I could gather. So Anna Eklund was apparently a very sweet girl, very sweet and innocent, and she really enjoyed going to church. And I guess her mother had passed away or something. I didn't really see too much information about that, but I do know that she lived with her father, and her father was having an affair with her aunt, her deceased mother's sister. And the rumor was that her aunt was a practicing witch. And she would allegedly put herbs into Anna's food, and it was, she would like cast spells on her and stuff. And so by the age of 14, Anna started showing early signs of demonic possession. She would act out, she would like say, like curse words, and she was apparently talking in languages that she didn't know. And she also grew very agitated when she would go to church or have any like holy water and stuff like that. The other indication, because at first when I read this I was like, well, it just sounds like an annoyed adolescent teen, but when I read that she started talking about like really grotesque sexual acts that she would not know about as a 14-year-old girl, then I was like, okay, maybe so. I do know, or I read as well, that her father was allegedly like trying to molest her, and that like the demonic possessions like grew worse after like her rejected advances. Gross. As Anna is growing up, like her possession continues on like as an adult. So I'm gonna jump to when she was in her 40s, and she comes across this this pastor. I believe his name was Raysinger. I believe it's pronounced Raysinger, so that's what we're going to call him. So Raysinger. So he apparently had another preacher or pastor friend or whatever, a priest. He was a priest, I'm sorry, because he was Catholic. So he had this other priest. There was a very exclusive convent that was run by nuns, like out in the middle of absolutely nowhere in Iowa. And so he had her taken there where they could perform like a very, very intensive exorcism on her. And by the way, like there were so many exorcisms that were performed on poor Anna, by the way. So in 1828, in it was about August, she was at the convent and she was displaying signs of demonic possession as well. She would fall into these like spouts of rage whenever her food was sprinkled with holy water from the nuns, which they were honestly given strict instruction to not, like, you know, upset Anna in any way. And for whatever stupid ass reason, this nun thought it was a good idea to like sprinkle holy water into the food, which I'm like, okay, if you were given strict instruction by a priest who I would assume is like your boss, like if you're a nun, like the priest is like your boss, I'm assuming, right? Like if your boss told you, hey, you know, maybe you shouldn't do that, or actually don't do anything to piss this freaking demon and, you know, enraged woman off, then why would you put freaking holy water into her food? But, you know, that whatever. I'm going to take a sip because, you know, I need it for this. She's showing these fits of rage, but while she was at this convent, things escalated real quick. Like, and because everything escalated in the way that it did, like, Anna's health was not so good. Like, her body was showing signs of deterioration because she was refusing to consume food. She was also vomiting up all kinds of stuff. Like, I saw reports of tobacco leaves. Her head, face, and lips were swelling at extreme proportions. And she was still speaking in multiple languages that were unknown to her. Oh my God, I cannot like do my makeup and talk at the same time. This is so hard because I just want to like talk about this. So hold on. Let me catch up real quick to my eyeshadow and then I'll continue the story. Okay, give me a second. By the way, the priest that Ray Singer had asked for help to assist him, his name was Joseph Steger. I hope I'm saying his name right, or Steiger, whatever. But yeah, so that was the dude that had like the convent where Anna was able to stay. Also, I should mention that she, not only was she vomiting up tobacco leaves and speaking in languages that she didn't know, she was also hissing like a cat. Allegedly, she had climbed up the walls like a spider, and she was howling like super, super duper freaking loud, like to where allegedly neighbors that were miles away could hear the howling. Yeah, that's pretty intense, right? When she would be howling and all that, her mouth wouldn't be moving. Like, you would hear voices and everything coming out of this woman, but her mouth would not be moving. She was also allegedly, like, she would go unconscious. Like, during the exorcism, she would go unconscious, and then her body would start to levitate. I mean, what am I doing? I tell you what, though, I probably would have been out of there, like, way, way before the levitation. Like, I probably would, let me be honest with you, I probably would have, like, hightailed it out of there once I heard that there was a woman who was possessed by a demon coming. I would have been like, nope, I did not sign up for this. I'm out. Like, I'm out, fam, okay? Homegirl was, like, levitating. She was hissing. She was vomiting up all kinds of, like, weird shit. Let's see. I need to look at my notes and kind of see what else. But she would also, like, when the priest would come near her, she would vomit up like some rancid, nasty shit. And she would also like spit spit and claw at anyone that came anywhere near her. Like, she was like,
"You better not touch me with that damn holy water, with your prayers. You better stay far, 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 far away from me."
They claimed that her body started to like really change. Like, her eyes were like bulging at an inhumane level. And like I said before, like, her head and lips were swollen. Her stomach was it looked like it was like gonna explode. Like, it started just like swelling to the point where it looked like it would explode, but then all of a sudden it would revert back to like a normal size. She also had like superhuman strength, and she was known to move things with her mind, which is like wild to me. Her exorcism at the convent allegedly lasted for about 23 days, and it was she would have like 3 sessions, so I'm assuming morning, afternoon, night. It was said that they found 4 distinct entities that were possessing Anna. So the first entity that came forth was an entity by the name of Beelzebub. And if you don't know who Beelzebub is, or if you've never like heard the name, which most people haven't, because most people aren't freaking weirdos like me that look up like demons and stuff, but I'm like, I don't know, it's kind of like interesting to me, I guess. And you know, if I ever became possessed, I would want to know what characteristics the demons have, so then I could kind of have an idea of like who's inside of me, you know, because once you know the demon's name, you have control over it, which is why demons, like, you know, you'll see in movies about exorcisms when the priest is consistently asking the demon to say their name and they won't. It's because the demon doesn't want the priest to have power over it. So Beelzebub, he's like a kingpin demon. Like, so think of Satan as Escobar, and then Beelzebub is like El Chapo, right? Like, El Chapo learned everything from Escobar, just like, you know, Beelzebub is like Satan's right hand man. Okay, so Beelzebub is said to be like the prince of hell. There's a few like mentions of him in the Bible, allegedly. I haven't seen it personally because I haven't like looked for him in the Bible, but apparently he's like mentioned in the Bible. And Beelzebub is said to like, his name means Lord of the Flies, and he's said to be like huge. Like, there's 2 different characteristics or like ways that he looks. So one is like where he looks like a big old ugly fly. The other one I saw a description of him, it said like he had like duck feet, a lion's tail, black hair, and bat wings. And I was like, that would be a sight to see, I'm telling you what. But one of the main reasons why I do kind of believe that Beelzebub was inhabiting Anna is because his thing is like explicit sexual nature. Like, he brings that out of people, as well as jealousy. But the other interesting thing is that he's kind of like the you know, the pimp daddy of witches. So he oversees like witch comments and things like that. So that's why I kind of like was like, oh, you know what, that makes sense, because remember who was a witch? You guessed it, yes, Anna's auntie. And there were also some mentions of her father being a witch as well, or a warlock or whatever. So, which is probably true of like, you know, if her auntie's a witch and like her dad is having an affair with the auntie. So, yeah. But yeah, like Beelzebub is like not the demon that you want to mess with. I mean, he is literally the prince of hell. So that sucks. That sucks big time for Anna. The other entities, if you will, that were said to be dwelling within Anna were Judas, and as I'm sure you know, Judas is the one that betrayed Jesus. And then the other two were Anna's auntie and father that were dwelling within her, which I found that to be quite interesting. And I don't really know how that works because I've never really heard of like ghosts possessing people. But then again, I guess if they were practicing witchcraft, I mean, you know, I'm sure that's something that they could do, right? I guess. So one of the other interesting things that I read was that the demons allegedly had predicted a car accident that Father Steger would be in. There were also, this is the other reason why I feel like Beelzebub was part of like this whole thing, is because there would constantly be like flies swarming around. And what was Beelzebub's thing? What was he called? Ding ding, Lord of the Flies. So, I don't know. It's kind of interesting. But, oh my god. See what I mean? I'm so bad at talking and doing my makeup. Like, this is ridiculous. I'm terrible. Hold on. Okay, I'm back. I had to finish my eye look because otherwise, like, I would have just kept talking and nothing would have ever gotten done. So, anywhoosies. Okay, we're gonna try the blush, the cream blush. I'm so nervous because like I've never done this before, so if it comes out looking like trash, like don't make fun of me, okay? Thank you. During these exorcisms, it was said that a lot of the nurses, or not nurses, a lot of the nuns and priests would not stay within Anna's presence for too long because I mean it was terrifying. Like how would you feel if you were seeing this girl who was like levitating and puking up tobacco and nasty shit and like levitating and you know all that? I'm telling you, I would have been hightailing my ass out of there a long time ago. I'm just saying, okay? But yeah. So but Ray Singer, I hope I'm saying his name right. Ray Singer, he was like not leaving Anna's side. Like he had been there from start to finish and he was just like, I am going to stick it out. I'm going to be here for you. I'm going to cast this damn demon and all his pals like the hell out of you. Okay, like we're going to make it through this, baby girl. I'm sure he probably said that, okay? Direct quote, okay? So, yeah. I feel like if it wasn't for him, I feel like poor Anna would have been completely screwed because I think that it was him that really, like, was just so adamant about not allowing these demons to take over this poor girl's life. I mean, think about it. Like, she lost a lot of her life. Like, from 14 to, like, 46, this woman was dealing with these demons. My goodness. Like, I could never imagine. Ray Singer just, like, did not give up on Anna, which is amazing because if he had, I mean, who knows what would have happened. And one day, finally, Ray Singer was able to wear the spirits down to the point where Anna, like, all of a sudden one day just jerked away and praised Jesus. Now, after the exorcism, it was said that Father Steger, he wrote his own account in a 1936 pamphlet, and it was titled Begone Satan, a soul-stirring account of diabolical possession in Iowa. And this was, it was supposed to act as like a guide for priests. I guess it was like a how-to, you know, like possession for dummies or something. Exorcism for dummies, if you will, for priests to follow. So if, you know, if they ever dealt with a case like this, it's like, here's what you do to cast the demon out. Although, final thoughts here. So, with that pamphlet that was made, I don't know if like a priest were to follow that step by step, if that would actually drive out an evil spirit. I feel like what really works is persistence, man, you know? From things that I've read and seen, I feel like it's persistence. It's like continuously wearing the demon down and continuously performing exorcisms. The only problem is that with all of these exorcisms performed, it takes a toll on the human body. It's a lot for someone to endure. So you do run the risk of somebody literally dying from being exposed to all of this, dealing with an exorcism. It's just like, whew. But I don't know. I personally have never seen anybody get possessed. And thank goodness for that, because like I said, I don't know if I could handle that. But I personally never seen anyone get possessed. I am not sure if I fully believe it, just because a lot of the possession cases that I see are from an earlier time in life when people were not looking at mental illness as an option for somebody's behavior. So sometimes it just makes me wonder if the reason why someone is acting the way that they are is because they have a mental illness that is not being addressed because it's too early on in history and they're not familiar with these illnesses, and so they automatically go to, oh my God, she's possessed by a demon. That's what it has to be. However, I cannot ignore in the story the relations with the characteristics that Anna was showing and then the characteristics of the demon Beelzebub, because there were a lot of similarities there, like with the sexuality, you know, the being like the pimp daddy of the witches and her aunt being a witch. The other part of that, though, is that I don't know for sure if her aunt was a practicing witch or if this was just something that neighborhood gossip was saying and claiming that she was. So it's really hard to tell when it's a possession case that is so old. I would be interested to see a possession case from, like, let's say the 90s on up, where we are familiar with mental illness, and especially like within the past, I want to say 10 years, where we have destigmatized mental illness and we have removed all of the negative connotations that come with mental illness. And I feel like people are more accepting of mental illness and more willing to talk about it, and also to look at it as you know, this is a true illness and needs to be treated and managed and maintained, versus back in the early 1900s when mental illness was kind of looked at as like something that just either didn't exist, or if it did, then people thought, oh, well, you know what, I can fix it by doing XYZ, whether that was prayer or just, you know, I'll fix it by being a good mother or being a hard worker or taking care of my kids, basically like a distraction. So I am interested to look at possession in that aspect of, like, once the mental illness side of it is examined and ruled out, and then there's nothing else besides possession that stands. I'd also be interested to look at possession cases and then looking at mental illnesses to see if these are clear signs of mental illness and they were misdiagnosed as a possession case, And you know, whenever you tell someone something enough and they start believing it, I wonder if it became where this person started to truly believe that they were possessed because they kept being told and there were these exorcisms happening. And so because they believed that they were being possessed, they started to show symptoms and signs of being possessed. And it's because they created this in their mind. I mean, the brain is a powerful thing, man. Like, ugh. And of course, I get a notification that ruins everything. Anyways, I guess that's my cue. I probably talked enough. I could ramble on forever and ever, so I'm going to shut up now, and I'm going to continue to enjoy my adult libation. I really, really enjoyed doing a little deep dive into this possession case, and I would love to look at other cases, maybe some other ghost stories. It doesn't have to be necessarily about possession, but maybe some spooky ooky ghost stories or whatever. I don't know. I just love spookies, and it's not because it's Halloween, but you know, I love Halloween. So anyways, if you enjoyed this, please leave a comment below and tell me if you've heard of this case before and tell me what you think. Also, if you can give me more insight on Anna's upbringing or any like you know, cases of mental illness with her. I did read that they did take her to medical experts who said that there was nothing wrong with her, but again, this was in the late 1800s, so But yeah, if you have any additional information about this case, I would love to hear about it. So feel free to leave it in the comment below. And I will see you later. Bye.
On cue. Yeah.